Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Wise. I am the director of the Center for Self-Differentiation at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Indianapolis, Indiana, or Carmel, Indiana. We're on the north side of Indianapolis. I have over 100 free videos on YouTube that you can watch. If you'd like a listing or if you'd like some resources on self-differentiation, please email me at the email address on the video and I'll send you those resources for free. This video is for those who have family members stuck inside themselves, or those who have ex-spouses stuck inside themselves, or those who have can be bosses, it can be siblings, it can be all kinds of folks. For those who have had affairs and still have residual or leftover feelings for their ex-affair partner. That's another area I find is really a place of struggle for clients that I work with. And for those adults who cannot get parents out of their emotional field, and you can watch some of my other videos for me and me describing that emotional field and what that is. And we're stuck in that emotional field and still feel guilty, shame, or pain when interacting with our parents or siblings, family of origin. Could be grandparents, could be the uncles and aunts that we particularly have some resentment, anger, frustration from childhood, for example. So how do we get them out of us and not get us out of them or away from them? And I always talk about, people are always saying, well, how do I get out of my family? I said, no, you're still trying to get out of your family. Get your family out of you. That's the main goal. And then when you've gotten your family out of you, you can decide what you want to do with your family. Because that family tends to change once they're out of you. Your perception of them, your sensitivity to them, your reactivity to them tends to go way down. And so you actually end up with a new family of origin because it's no longer the paradigm you were using. It's a new paradigm. And that affects how we see them. And so now no longer is mom's craziness or dad's anger and irritability or frustration now peaking and pinging me inside. It doesn't do that. So I just see them as people who have issues, you know, and they're to be treated like I would have anybody else who had issues. But they're not there for my existence. They're not there so that I feel loved. They're not there so I feel accepted. I deal with those needs from them, don't have those needs from them, and then the whole relationship changes. I believe grief work is the pathway to letting go. And this is what I mean by, say, choosing, and this particular video is entitled Have an Intentional Funeral When You Need to Let Go. This is what I mean when I use the term intentional funeral. Some might call it psychodrama work, some might call it inner letting go work. It's pretending to have a funeral emotionally and mentally, so we can get over them. It's an internal emotional funeral. And the more we're able to embrace that funeral, the more we're able to embrace that letting go, the more we actually do let go and can resolve some of the feelings that holds us in an enmeshment position with them. Exes, parents, family of origin, bosses, who knows. This grief work can be guided by a coach or therapist. Guided imagery is a very powerful form of help, which can help clients let go or get over or release someone from deep inside them. And I have people come to me all the time and want to let go of an ex, or an ex-affair partner, or any number, an ex-boss, a sister-in-law, a sister, parents whom still are stuck inside them and they get reactive inside over those particular family members. If you are in touch with your feelings about the person or thing you want to let go of, or the thing you want to let die within yourself, you can even set up your own funeral for the person with a friend or a sponsor or recovery partners. When I say sponsors, having worked in the 12-step community for a number of years and also worked inpatient for a number of years working with alcoholics and addicts and their family members. And I was the family counselor for alcoholics and addicts, very severe alcoholics and addicts, and we would all do family groups and we would do therapy with them to help them let go. Not only the addict or alcoholic to let go of their family, but the family to let go of them. And so the whole process was about letting go. It was very important to do that so that you have some self-differentiation and are not enmeshed and codependent. So letting go is very important for addictions work and for adult children of alcoholics as well and grandchildren of alcoholics. And that's why I think this has always been a useful way. And we used to set up funerals with our patients that we saw, inpatient, and the addict or alcoholic, there would be chairs set out. The addict or alcoholic would lay down, close their eyes, and we would have the families pass by them to do some letting go work, because they were facing their fear that was the greatest, that my child's going to die because of their addiction. And in fact, it's possible that their child may die because of addiction, that addictions kill. And so for them to move on with their lives, they have to have the funeral and let them go. It doesn't mean they don't love them. It doesn't mean they don't care about them. In fact, in some ways, they overcare and they overlove, which is where enmeshment and enabling and all those kinds of problems come in. They do care about them. But to balance that into a healthy balance, that if you have an adult who, a child of yours who's now an adult, you're limited as to what you can do for them or to change their lives. And nobody can change an addiction for someone else. That has to be internal work, and we have to own that powerlessness. And so the funeral is about the powerlessness, that I can't make this happen, so I need to let you go. This also helps the addict or alcoholic hit bottom, also realize they're going to have to change their lives. It puts the responsibility squarely in their lap. So that's the way we used it inpatient, and it was a very, very powerful sequence of events that would happen, and we would do this weekly. A family would go through an entire week of family therapy with alcoholics and addicts. And I was in charge of all the families, and we would do this weekly. And also there are some in which the addicts or alcoholics were caught and couldn't let go of their parents. And this would drive addiction and triggers and all kinds of things. And we would do funerals for their parents so they could let go of their parents and feeling responsible for them, or responsible for their happiness, responsible for all kinds of things, and couldn't get that out of them. This funeral, as I say in quotes, is simply getting into a frame of mind and heart to say your goodbyes forever to the person you need to let go. Write a letter to them as though they are in the casket or funeral home or church, in a church viewing, and express your sadness, feelings, and pain of letting them go. This is a time where we have chosen to let them die within us. We're not hoping they die, so don't feel guilty or bad. You're not hoping they die. What you're hoping for is detachment within you. And by doing this, we don't cause them to die. We don't send out bad karma. Or what we're doing is doing an exercise in letting go for us. And in fact, often what I found is it improved the relationship between the families and the addict or alcoholic tremendously. everyone felt a burden lifted. Both the person who was in the funeral and the person who was grieving the loss. Choose a time to say goodbye. You can use props, use music, your favorite music, and have friends join you. You can write a eulogy or a goodbye letter to them, and be ready to identify, express, and allow your feelings to flow. And grieve over this loss. Oftentimes we stay enmeshed and we stay caught with the ex-affair partner, because we can't let them go. We don't want to do the grief work of letting them go, even though it's the best thing for us, and it is the healthy, adult, mature thing to do. But we have a hard time doing that, so this gives you an opportunity to face that and do it. It's no different than, I just saw a movie about World War I, and it's the girl had been wounded. She was a Cossack in World War I. She went to fight with her father, and she was hit in the knee, and the knee became gangrene by the time they got her to the hospital. So the question becomes, does she face the amputation or does she not? Because she's not wanting to lose her legs. She's a horsewoman. She doesn't want to. She wants to have her legs. But does she face the pain of the amputation, or does she face losing her life? And I think that's so many times why it's hard to do the funeral, because we don't want that amputation. We want things to be the way we dream about, fantasize about, hope about. And it won't work, but we don't want to give up that dream. So she submitted to the amputation, and then she was much better on the other side. And I think the same is true when we do the funeral work or the grief work over letting someone go, so that we'll be better on the other side. And even might be able to love better, love more fully, love more freely. And as you feel lighter in expressing these feelings, and more, you feel more free to say your goodbye. And you're able to share with them the goodbye and walk away from them. And we would actually turn out the lights, have them leave the room, and they were gone. And it was very, very powerful. People were very touched, because it's the very thing they didn't want to face. I don't want to lose my child. I don't want to lose my husband. I don't want to. But if a husband or child is saying, I'm going to go on drinking whether you like it or not, well, okay, that's your choice, but then I'm going to have to say my goodbyes, because addiction will kill you eventually. And it does. And so they needed to be able to do that. It also woke up the addict and alcoholic to how severe their illness was, and also what severely and what importantly they were losing as a result of their choice for alcohol or heroin or cocaine or whatever it was. I realize this is not magic. It is a technique. I understand that. But it can be a powerful technique in grief work if done sincerely and with the belief that you choose to say goodbye and to let go, and you have prepared yourself to face life without that person in your life the way you wanted them to be, or to be able to live without the drama that this person has brought to you and you've created in your life, then you're ready. Because we have to be willing to grieve letting go of the drama. Maybe this person was just all drama in your life, and it's hard for you to live without drama because you're an ACOA. Maybe this person, you always had a fantasy. We were always just going to have this wonderful relationship. Just like an ex-affair partner. Oh, it was going to be wonderful. We were so happy. We were soulmates. We always understood each other. We had sex. It was fabulous, etc., etc. But it's a dream. It's a fantasy. It's not reality. It seems very real. And so when I say goodbye to this ex-affair partner, I'm saying I'm willing to live my life without you. And that's very sobering, and it's very painful, because we want to hold on to that dream. She met all of my needs. He met all of my needs. We just had no. Well, when you only have to live with part of their life, not their whole life, you can meet a lot of their needs. The wife who's at home or the husband who's at home is taking care of the kids, paying the bills while you're out having an affair. So, of course, your life is lighter in this affair fantasy relationship. Often I work with folks for a number of sessions to prepare them to explore getting ready for them to have a funeral. Because it might take some work to look at what are the downsides of me letting them go? What are the downsides of me having this funeral? And if you view some of my other videos, you'll see what I mean by the downside of certain behaviors. If I let go of them, what's the downside? Because inside we're saying, oh, if I let go of them, then life will just be great. No, that's not why you're still connected. You're still connected because what you think is going to happen is worse than or more important to you than letting go of them. Often we hang on to people, places, and things because people are not wanting to let go of the fantasy or the dream. We don't want this to die. For example, that one day our parents will be meeting our needs, very empathetic and understanding, or an ex-spouse who will not blame us for everything that went wrong in the marriage. We dream about, I really think if they would just not blame me for everything. So I'm holding out for that, and that's why I can't let them go. Well, they may change, but you can't wait on them to change. You must change you first. You must change you, not wait for someone to change so you can change. That's living in bondage to someone else or something else. Or maybe we hang on to people, places, and things because due to our low self-esteem, we believe we deserve the pain. We don't know who we would be without the pain. When we have had this pain and stuckness, say with our parents for 35 years or more, who would I be without that pain? If I let go of my mom and dad, and they've always brought me pain for 40 years, who would I be? The result is something that you can explore with your coach, your therapist. We keep resuscitating a dying, dead, or toxic relationship, hoping it will change or they will change. So we always have these relationships that we can't let go of in the ICU and are always trying to shock them back to health when it's terminal. And for adults, it needs to be terminal because we don't need that anymore. We don't need to have our parents' approval. You don't even need to have your parents' love. It's nice. I think it's a great thing, and I hope families will do that, but it's not required for you to be a healthy adult. It is not required. If you're an adult. Now, if you're a kid, that's something different. That's a little more, we need that consistency, love, dependence. That's a healthy place for that as we're growing up, but not as adults. So we keep resuscitating this dying, dead, or toxic relationship. We get beaten up emotionally and in many other ways, and we rationalize it. But there's really a good person inside them, and I'll just hang on and wait for them to change. Someday they will. If I complain enough, they'll get the point. Or we say there are some times when they were just who I wanted and needed them to be. And maybe even with toxic parents, for example, there might have been times where they were actually what you needed and who you needed at that time. And then we hang on to that and go, why can't they do that all the time? And then we're traumatized by the toxicity all the time because they're crazy or they're emotionally have issues, as we all do. And when I say crazy, I don't mean psychiatric. I mean just their behavior is not norm. Their abnormal behavior, abnormal feelings, abnormal reactions, or unhealthy ones. Maybe that's a better word than abnormal. Or unhealthy reactions, unhealthy behaviors with us. And we hold on and hope that they will change. If you need to let someone die in your life, if you need to let go, have an intentional funeral. If you'd like some help, I want you to contact me. My contact information is on the screen, my email, and my phone number. I hope you'll join our YouTube channel, Family Tree Counseling Channel. And I want to thank you today for watching, and have a great day.